Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Circle of the World video. This is going to be off the cuff here, maybe a slight editing, maybe a little bit of music, but I wanted to cover, as the title says, the news about the First Law movie, just to cover the basis of what happened yesterday. In the middle of the day, somebody on Reddit found a post on Deadline of an article. I saw it, I think, 30 minutes after it came out, after the article was posted. So thank you, Redditor. They were quick on that. So it said Rebecca Ferguson in talks to star inside of Joe Abercrombie's Best Served Cold movie. So that means, and they're working with Skydance as the production. They already have producers. Joe Abercrombie's doing the screenplay himself, and Tim Miller is set to be the director. Everybody in the middle of the day yesterday in the First Law community absolutely exploded with excitement. The excitement of that news also brought a whole bunch of people posting again, which is honestly perfect because it's been, a year and a half, 2 years? No, it's not been 2 years yet. It's been a year and a half or so since The Wisdom of Crowds came out. So this was like a shot of adrenaline to the First Law community, which is awesome for us. But I kind of wanted to just address some things as the Adeptus historical and kind of talk about some stuff. Hopefully we'll be doing a video of me and George and Jeff all talking about our thoughts on this. And I'm sure it'll keep coming up inside of the podcast itself. If you want to check that out, as you know, you can go down to the links and stuff below, and you can find us there. But as for the actual news, Joe Abercrombie said he's been in talks with Tim Miller for 10 years now, trying to come up with something. Obviously, that means they probably just started talking about it one day. They're friends, which is a good sign, because that means they've been thinking about this a long time. And as we know, Joe does take his time thinking of the projects. He does excellent job at that. Once he gets to that product, he usually seems to produce it pretty quick. But he spent a long time thinking of the Blade itself and the original trilogy. And I have no doubt that whatever they produce, especially with him being a screenplayer and working together with the director, that whatever they produce is going to be, at the very least, what Joe was imagining when he writes these books. Obviously, a lot of people are nervous about it. They're like, why are they doing Best Served Cold and not the original trilogy? I think most people kind of understand why, but for those who don't, it makes perfect sense that they would pick Best Served Cold over the original trilogy. The original trilogy is a massive endeavor because they would have to plan out all 3 movies, plan out all the arcs. They basically just have to build the universe. And honestly, I am so happy that Joe opted out of that, because I think we are in a culture of more. Give us franchises, give us trilogies. And for them just to say, no, we're going to try a different approach, even though it's kind of in the middle of the series, I think is going to be good. Second of all, Best Served Cold is going to be I think everybody would agree, even if you don't like the story, it's the best standalone. It's the least directly connected to all the other stories. 3, it's got characters that we're going to feel in other movies and get to explore more, but without ruining like overarching plots, except for maybe one instance. As for the actress, I think Rebecca Ferguson is fantastic. I'm sure plenty of people will be like, no, this isn't good, terrible casting. But the fact that they've approached her, I'm not an expert in the movie industry in terms of how it all comes together, but I will say that it seems like, judging based off how Joe is still saying, hey, it's still early works. They're working with Skydance and they're working with Tim Miller to try to make something, but it seems like they're still in talks. So, and it's not 100% set in. And of course, things can fall through way later on as well. But they are to the point now where he's done a screenplay, it seems, and they pitched it, and they said yes of moving forward with, picking cast members at the very least. So if Rebecca Ferguson does take it up, if that is the choice that they make, I think she's perfect. She has the cold calculus approach that she has on many of her roles. She can show a lot of heart. So I just think that she could portray Monza really well, without losing too much. And she's a name. They need a big name, or a fairly big name, for a movie. I mean, you can say what you will about how a good movie is going to show itself, but I want this thing to blow up. I want everybody to figure out that Joe Abercrombie is an amazing writer, and that this series is fucking fire. There's a reason all of us love it so much, and I think they will be able to experience that if things are kind of heading in the direction that they're going now. As for people talking about, what about the other movies that Tim Miller has made? The Tim Miller talk, I think somebody might have mentioned Tim Miller inside of he would be an interesting director. Whoever guessed that, props to them. Also, on the side note, props to the Redditor, whatever Joe posted his May progression report. Somebody said, wait a minute, that last line of Joe's progression report, does that mean he's possibly working on some kind of film or a movie? And a lot of people said, surely he is, but to be honest, everybody's been saying that since I've joined the community 3 years ago, so it could definitely just be people just saying what they normally do. Either way, whoever just said that, they called it. As for Tim Miller, he's directed Deadpool, Terminator Dark Fate, some other side projects. Those ones are the big ones. I honestly haven't seen Terminator Dark Fate. Oh, that's right. Love, Death, and Robots he's the main head for, which is obviously probably why Joe Abercrombie was actually brought on for one of the episodes. If you don't know what Love, Death, and Robots is, this is a Netflix anthology series, usually sci-fi, and it gets pretty wacky, but it's a load of fun. It's like really good writing and just short stories, which Joe likes doing, it seems. So Tim Miller is the main force behind that, which he is, in terms of artistic flair, he's got it. And I think if Joe thinks he's the right guy and he's his friend, and if that's the case, I imagine Tim Miller's probably read the series too, at least to a certain degree. I really like where this is going. Some people may be hesitant on the screenplay, but they have a template already. It's not like Joe is writing like J.K. Rowling, where she made these books and then they made them into movies, and then instead of writing more books and letting those turn into movies, she decided that she was going to write the screenplay herself. That's a lot more precarious than adapting your own book into a screenplay whenever you also have experience in that field. So I honestly think that whatever the screenplay is, like I said at the beginning, at the very least you can trust that it's Joe's vision, if everything goes well. So anyways, thank you for hearing my incoherent rambles. I hope that we'll be posting more about this hopefully soon. Our 1 year anniversary for our podcast is coming up. And as a side note, thank you for patience on the Great Northern War series. I have been working on it, but I've had a lot of family and life stuff happening, like vacations and things. Nothing you can complain about. But I haven't had the time to get it knocked out. But I'm hoping to have it out soon. And we're hoping to make other videos soon as well. I'm back kind of on a regular schedule. So either way, we'll be talking to you guys soon.